Hi, everybody. Angel here. Hope you guys are doing great. I'm excited to speak with Iris today of Raw Vegan Cakes. So we'll get started soon. Hope you're having a great day wherever you're in the world, if you're watching it live or on the replay. And we will get started soon. And in case you missed some previous episodes, they are actually saved on IGTV on my page. So you can find the previous episodes under the Instagram interview section. Hi there.
Hiya, can you see me?
No. Yes, yes.
That was that was the wall.
How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
Fine, thanks. Oh, my wow, my oof. My agenda is not pasting because I had to start so many times. But anyway, we can get started. I was gonna post the agenda, but I think it got taken away because of all the restarts, but it's okay. So thanks so much for joining. I do want to make sure I pronounce your name properly. So tell me your name, please. How do you pronounce your name? I mean, I know your name. I just
Okay.
want to be sure.
I tell you, this is the story of my life. So I'm from Austria, so there it is pronounced Iris.
Iris. Okay, I just wanted to be sure because in English we say Iris, and I was like, yeah,
I
but I
know.
I don't know if that's how she pronounces it. So I'm just gonna be sure I get it right.
You don't you worry. My boyfriend actually, it took him 2 years to get to the point of calling me Iris. He's from England, so it's
Oh my gosh, that is hilarious. I love it. Oh my gosh. Well, I want to thank you so much, Iris, for taking the time. I want to say hi to anybody who's on the line, either live or on the replay. And we do have a lot of topics to cover, so I think we should just jump right in.
perfect.
All right. So, the first question for you, please, is if you could share with us your plant based journey, how you started, and how you ended up to where you are today.
Sure. So for me, I started eating vegetarian when I was 14 years old. It happened on a, or it was initiated on a trip to France, and I really had meat that was just not prepared in a way that, I mean, I was just disgusted, completely disgusted by the meat, and yeah, it just formed and shaped my mind to be like, okay, I really can't eat that way. Um, and from then on, I really was vegetarian. I had a few phases of maybe, you know, going for seafood and stuff. But that was a big part or a big chunk of my life, being just vegetarian. And then I ended up going to Thailand. So I'm just realizing, oh, it's like all these different places. But I ended up going to Thailand, and they had all this incredible fruits there. I don't know if you have been to Thailand.
Not yet. Hopefully one day.
Okay, well, where are you? Where are you located?
I'm on the East Coast, about an hour from Boston.
Okay, so kind of north. But I would say, you know, in all the tropical countries, it's so easy to fall in love with the fruits and so easy to only eat that. And that's exactly what happened for me in Thailand. I really just went for mostly fruit only. I had all these incredible, I remember rambutans and snake fruit and dragon fruit and jackfruit. I don't know, but it was incredible. Oh, and my favorite, mangosteen.
Oh,
Mangosteen is delicious. That was my favorite. That was my favorite. And I just ate all of that. And when I came back, I just decided, wow, this is something that I want to try. And what happened was that I really pretty much from 0 to 100 went to a raw food diet. And I'm also someone who's very excited about learning and is very excited about studying and getting to know things very well. And so it happened also very quickly that I wrote a lot of books, and I started to work. Well, actually, first I started to take classes of raw food chefing, and started to work in that field as well. So it all kind of lined up. Today, I'm not a raw vegetarian. I was only eating raw foods for 2 years. Today, I don't really follow so much of an ideology. If I look at my diet, and actually I have been in preparation for this call, where I was feeling like, oh, okay, so actually my diet is a high percentage raw. That's actually without me even needing to think about it. But still, I have cooked food every day, and also I'm not even, vegan 100%, which is interesting to just see how it all changed throughout the years. But still, I feel very passionate. I feel like raw food is one of my favorite ways to eat. If I could sustain it, and if I wouldn't feel guilty eating with other people, which I think is a big problem that many people face when they have any kind of diet, how it is with eating with other people. It would be very different. But I do feel very passionate about spreading the message and the possibility of raw food and the option that they hold for health with everyday people, and I feel by eating myself, not 100% raw, almost I can tap into that crowd, and I can tap also into that mindset and see at the same time what still would be beneficial to introduce there as well. And that has been my approach in the most recent years.
Yeah, and I mean, you're right. I mean, you touched on a lot of things. I can relate in the sense that I gave up what we call meat or land animals 20 years before I switched to a vegan diet, because for health reasons, I gave up what we call meat, but I was still a pescatarian, vegetarian. And then over the years, I just phased out fish because of mercury, to be honest with you, and all the junk in the oceans. I didn't really understand you know, the overfishing and all of that, right? I didn't understand any of that. But and then in terms of like dairy, I was lactose intolerant anyway. And then at some point I just said, forget this. I'm just gonna, you know, eat plant, you know, for example, plant milks or plant yogurts like that. So, and just slowly, I just kind of phased it out. And then I discovered there were actually real vegan restaurants in the world. And I was like, wow. So when I travel, I can actually have a vegan diet, you know? So it just kind of like moved from there, and then lifestyle. So I can definitely relate to a part of what you're saying. Like it's just, you know, it's a gradual journey, basically.
Yeah, and it's so fluctuating, you know. I think with diets, what I've seen in my life, and I studied nutrition as a health coach, and you know, worked with food obviously for quite some years, and also just did a lot of self-study. And I feel it's so interesting with diet. We tend to so easily fall into ideologies, and that is what we see a lot in the food industry and yeah, the dieting industry. Like, oh, okay, this is the way to eat, and the other people say, oh, this is the opposite way to eat, and it's such a beautiful representation of what we do as humans.
What, with
Anyway,
everything, with everything.
yes, exactly. We're just like, okay, this is the right way, and I know this is the right way. And the reality is, you know, it fluctuates. It depends on the time, place, circumstance, on the person, and also for the person themselves, it may change over time. So for me, I just tend to not follow any ideology. I feel that people have the capacity to know for themselves if they want to, what is good for them. And I have the belief and experience that human beings have the capacity to just innately know whatever they need to know, if it is related to food, if it is related to other life activities or steps. And yeah, it just applies to food as well. So I'm very open-minded. I have lots of meat-eating friends around, and they're great. You know.
You know, I mean, we all do. You know, we're the minority when it comes to eating plants. So definitely, that's, you know, I guess that's just the way it is for now. Anyway, I do want to pause and
Yeah.
say hi to anyone who's on the line, and thanks for joining. And if you do have any questions for Iris, you can just put them down below, and she'll be happy to answer. And meanwhile, we'll just continue with our topics. So, Iris, if you could share with us, please. More about your raw vegan cakes courses or course.
Yeah. So at the moment, it's one course teaching how to make very simple raw vegan cakes and or desserts. It is designed not necessarily, even though also I see many people who are actually chefs or interested in it, you know, like on a professional level, but it's actually not designed for that. The course is designed for everyone. So the motto is making raw vegan cakes accessible for everyone, making the reality of healthier desserts available and known to everyone. So I want to actually I'm located in India now, so I want to educate those people who have no idea about vegan foods, about all this kind of health foods, about raw vegetarianism, who eat a lot of sugars, who eat a lot of desserts, especially here. Also, there's a lot of sugary sweets, but also in the West, you know, like we go into the supermarket, we see the chocolate bars, and everything is full of refined sugars, and yeah, all of that, and even cakes to a degree are just full of sugar and fat. So I want to just introduce a wider audience to the possibility that they can have healthier desserts in their home. They don't need to be a professional chef to do those and prepare those. But yeah, it can just be an amazing and easy alternative to regular sweets. And it can be an improvement to anyone's health without needing the feeling to sacrifice a lot, because we still feel like that was one of the main aha moments when I, discovered raw food desserts. It was just like, wow, you can actually have a piece of cake almost for breakfast and feel totally guilt-free.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And yeah, I mean, today it just feels so different to have the sweets and desserts that are also easy to make. You can just, I just started actually recently on a Sunday. I would, make my preparation for the week, like very simple staple desserts, and then throughout the week, I don't need to worry about it. I keep it in the fridge, in the freezer, and then whenever I want to have like a little sweet, tick, there we go, and it's all ready, and it's much better for me, and you can feel it.
Yeah, and I mean, what you're describing is what we call like batch cooking or batch preparation, where you kind of, you dedicate, I don't know, a certain, chunk of time so that you don't have to do it like every day. And so I think that's really cool because a lot of people really like that approach, and then I love that you're saying also that, the fact that the ingredients are so high quality, and they still maintain their nutrients, because they are raw. You really don't feel like, oh my gosh, you're cheating, or, you're eating something terrible for your health, or there's too much, processed sugar. So I think that's really cool, the approach that you have. If you could just tell us a little bit more, please, about like, I guess, where people find the course, how long the course is, or the class.
So the course can be found on my website, which is www.iris.com for the ease of recognition. And yeah, it will just be there. And it's also actually translated into Russian for anyone who speaks Russian. So on my website, it is in English, but it is also translated into Russian on the website proshokolad.com. So these are two options. How long is it? So it is not really designed to be taken. Again, it's not designed as like a chef course where you like fixed to a schedule and you're, like, okay, today I have to do this and today I have to do that. Instead, it is lifetime access to the course, and people can take it in a way they want, whenever they want. And it is also in a way that designed that whenever I create new recipes or I make new content, I will add it to the class. And, a tempting approach would be to then create a new course and upsell it, but that is not my approach. I will just always add the new recipes to the class, and everyone who's already signed up will, equally as new people, receive the whole content and the extended course. So that is kind of the system at the moment.
Very cool. So it's almost like you refresh it, you update it, but it sounds to me like there's no additional cost for the new material.
No.
And so how much reaching out, or I guess individual help is offered as a part of the course?
Anyone can reach out as much as they want. There is, within office hours, there is live chat opportunity. Everyone can always email me and they will receive a response within 24 to 48 hours, depending if there is a weekend or not. I do take the weekends off, so that's important for me because I try to take the weekends off to stage like this, but I do know how it can be otherwise. So I think it's fair to everyone, to just keep the weekends and also communicate this clearly from the beginning, so everyone knows when they can reach me. But sometimes you will find, if I do see an email, I might respond. But I try to be as fast as possible.
Yeah, no. And I did look at your website, and you do clearly show your office hours. So I think it's nice to know for people up front, like when, would be the most convenient time for them to reach out for you. I think it's good that you just you're very clear about it. I want to just say hi to everyone who's joining, and if you do have questions or comments for Iris, you can put them down below and she'll be happy to answer. And thanks for joining. And meanwhile, tell us please about your coaching services.
So as I mentioned, I'm also trained as a health coach. So I trained at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, and so that is like a 1 year course, a 1 year program. And I do offer one-on-one health coaching sessions, but I also am actually in the process of designing a new program specifically for people who have been ill and who just recovered and are looking, for a healthier way of life or a way back into life. The reason why I'm working on this program is because I just had COVID myself.
Oh, wow.
And
Ooh.
I
Sorry to
was
hear
ill
that.
for a month.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear
Thank
that.
you. It was quite a ride. But yeah, I was ill for a month, but it was actually in the end, very fueling in my wish to be of service and, to support people who are going through the same. And there are so many, obviously, beings at the moment in the world, everywhere, who are suffering either from the illness or fear of the illness or after effects. So I can very much relate to the experience that people are going through at the moment, and because having gone through it myself, so I feel very much, moved to offer one option and offer support to people, being healthy and, specifically in the circumstance after having experienced an illness.
Wow. Yeah. And I mean, the fact that, we are in a global pandemic, which is, tough just in and of itself. And I think what is so helpful in what you're, offering and able to provide is even firsthand knowledge of, what this could involve in terms of, bouncing back from it and fortifying one's health after such an experience. So
Yes.
definitely you have firsthand experience.
Yeah, and I see it already now. There's so many people reaching out all over, like there's so many places where people, are really struggling and looking for help. And it's already amazing. Anyone who has gone through the experience can be there and just be present even. Healthcare is often overwhelmed in many countries. Many countries have 2-hour waiting lines on the help hotline, or many people don't even know there is a help hotline or what steps to take. So just being there, and even maybe time difference. I had one lady at 4 a.m. in the morning. It was for her, and I just spontaneously messaged her, and she actually was, very scared and had like oxygen level problems. And I was just looking it up. Okay, what is the oxygen levels? Found the hospital in her area, called them, asked if she needed to come or not, and they told me exactly what the suggestions were, and I forwarded it to her, and it was a very easy and quick way of supporting. But I just know myself, sometimes in the middle of the night I needed to call my doctor and needed someone to support, and I was lucky to have that support, so I'm happy to offer that as well.
Well, gosh, I mean, brava and kudos to you for helping someone. No, honestly, like across the world like that. I mean, oh, that's quite something. Wow. And so where can people find this particular service?
So at the moment, I haven't made it public whatsoever. So far, I have just helped spontaneously when I saw people were needing it. I am in the moment. Well, there is my normal health coaching page on the website, but I'm in the moment formulating a program specifically for that purpose.
Okay, great, great. So could you tell us, please, a bit about your book?
About my book.
Yes. I think
What
you
book
have
are we talking about?
I think you're a part of a recipe book, right?
How do you know that?
I just went on your website.
Oh, that must have been today.
Yeah. Oh, is this new? Oops.
It is new. It's actually launching in 20 minutes.
Awesome. Awesome.
So it will be launching in 20 minutes. It's called Vegan Desserts for Magic Moments. It's an ebook that I started actually, I had the idea for while being ill, and it was something that actually thinking of the project and the people to get involved supported me very much through the whole thing. And so I invited a group of plant-based dessert chefs who, in all the years that I worked in this industry, I got to know through travels, through work, classes, and so forth. And I just reached out and invited them to join in together and create this ebook where everyone contributed one recipe each. And it was amazing. Everyone was really so open and happy to share. And there is some amazing dessert chefs, really incredible. I can only recommend to look at the profile in 20 minutes and approximately see what it's like. But the best part is that actually we have decided upon a charity together. So I invited everyone to make a suggestion for a charity, and then in the end we had a poll, and everyone again had the opportunity to vote for a charity out of the ones that were suggested. And in the end we had an amazing charity that got the most votes, and you will again hear about it very soon. But yeah, we decided that all the profits from the book will only go to the charity. So it's a very beautiful project. I feel, especially in the times when we are used to travel so much, we are used to be able to do whatever we want to do. We are used to hosting workshops and all these things. And for the most part, we are not at this point. So it was just amazing that in a time where we feel that we are isolated in our countries and not able to go even maybe to our home country, in my case, that we can come together, we can create something together, and at the same time we can also support a cause, for beings in need.
Yes, and I want to say two things. So, again, I just went on your website, just looking at the link in your bio. I do want to say, without spoiling anything, I just want to make 2 points. The list of contributing chefs is very impressive. One of the aspects that really impressed me was the diversity in terms of the backgrounds of all of the chefs, the nationalities, locations. To me, that was like, whoa, that blew me away. Secondly, I do want to say that, the charity that you chose, again, I think it's going to really speak to a lot of people. I would say vegans and non-vegans. I think it's just such a beautiful cause that you all are, supporting. And of course, anybody who purchases the book will be supporting that particular charity directly as well. So I just want to say those two things without, giving anything away.
I'm so happy. Thank you very much. I'm glad to hear that feedback.
Awesome. Awesome. I want to thank everybody on the line. And if you have any questions or comments for Iris, you can put them down below and she'll be happy to answer. So meanwhile, Iris, if you could share with us, please, how do you handle naysayers and critics of a plant-based diet?
I have some friends around me who are pretty much carnivores. Pretty much, I had a lot of being, fun made when I was like the raw food girl and things like that. And I would say in a way, there was one side that kind of loosened me up to the whole, topic of, resting in ideologies and, seeing also everyone as they are and in the way they eat as completely perfect and in their own choice. At the same time, I also see the benefit of having people around you who are eating making the same lifestyle choices, let's say it like this. while making the same lifestyle choices, because automatically everything becomes so much easier. And that is the truth for, sports, business, any kind of study, and it is also, of course, true for food. And I see that especially with travels, many of the places that I have traveled to are specific places where health food and wellness are really booming, whether it's Los Angeles, whether it's Bali. So these are all places where I also see naturally I will only eat that way, just like that, without even needing to think about it. Whereas, of course, when I'm in a normal circumstance, it's not as easy. And in that way, I can feel for everyone who's trying to change their diet, or who's trying to, make changes in any kind of ways in their life, because it's not easy if your circumstances around you are not reflective of what you want to do. So I think that is when really the support is super important, and where, just having support of people who have gone before, who have the experience, who have tried different ways and experienced different problems, found different solutions, is so helpful. But yeah, generally with naysayers, everyone can do what they need to do and what they want to do. It's nothing that I need to be concerned about too much.
So what would you give as a couple pieces of advice for people who are curious about starting a plant-based diet? They're newbies and they're just not sure how to go about it. What would you recommend? A couple of tips for them.
I would say make it as easy as you can. Make it as simple as you can. Make it as, one step at a time. I would say that's why, for example, with, if you're someone who loves sweets, then maybe the first step can be swapping out your regular sweets with delicious raw foods, or other, healthier desserts. And whatever it is, I think that focusing more on including the things that you want to include in your diet, rather than thinking of all the things that you need to get rid of or omit, like this typical term crowding out, is, I think, an easier approach. And just make it in a way that you feel like you don't need to think about it. So oftentimes we think so much about our diet, we think so much about our nutrition, and are we doing the right thing and are we doing the wrong thing? And the truth is, we are pretty resilient human beings,
Yeah.
and we can be so gentle with ourselves. We can just, give it a try, see what works for us, see what we like, and we don't need to stress about it too much. Like one step at a time, getting some more information, testing this kind of recipe, testing this kind of way, and see what works for us. Oh, yeah, I think not following ideology, but staying in tune with what we need is crucial, because otherwise it just becomes a head trip, and then it has often nothing to do with health, it has nothing to do with well-being. Instead, it is just another thing to do and another thing to follow.
Yeah, and what I'm hearing from you too is this whole idea of looking at it from an abundance perspective and not a scarcity perspective. In other words, not saying, well, what do I have to give up? But rather, well, what can I add to, in this case, my diet? I can add lots of, fruits and vegetables. I can add, yummy food, delicious food, without feeling deprived, like, you're living, you're living in scarcity. So I really, like that approach of like you're saying, adding, rather than concentrating on what you have to give up and take away from what you're used to, at least, at the beginning. And then, of course, I think it naturally happens that, people just say, yeah, well, then I'm just going to replace all of these other foods with this new set of foods.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So, tell us, please. I know you mentioned, the big announcement you're making, and soon today. Are there any other future projects that you wanted to share with everyone?
Well, again, the only project, and that was going to be a big one, is that program for people who have recovered from any kind of illness, serious illness, and who want to come back into, their normal life. They might have felt disconnected from their people around them, from life activities overall, and purpose of life and all these things. A program that helps people wherever they are with their energy levels also to get back to being able to contribute either to their community, to their families, even at work, whatever it is where they feel their places. Supporting people like that to come back into the world and back into their normal life is a program that I'm working on.
Awesome. And I love the holistic approach you're taking too, because it is multifaceted, and life is not just one thing. It's not just, for example, what we eat. I mean, life is just full of so many, different aspects and areas.
And I will tell you one thing, when I was ill with COVID, and I think it was after 1 month, I decided, okay, there needs to be some change. And actually, the thing that, started to really improve my health was not like all the medicine and all the things that I've been taking the whole time, and even the medical support and everything that was really great. But actually, it was also stepping out and saying, okay, no, I want this. I want to actually live this life, and I want to contribute in a certain way, and I want to take care of myself, and I want to be well, and also I want to be with people again. So all of that was really crucial, and I think from then on there was such a shift in my well-being and my illness and recovery. So I think it's super important to have the whole approach.
That's so beautiful, because what I'm hearing you say also is like you wanted to just take back control. You felt empowered to, make decisions for yourself and not just rely on other people to, decide how you were going to, bounce back from what had happened to you.
Yeah, I mean, there was a need in a way, when it's an illness that is, even the doctors don't have a solution yet, a cure yet, and where many of the tests come out with no results, even though people are ill. You just have to be in charge of your own health and of your own well-being. You need to know, but this is going on. It doesn't matter what this thing says. I know this is going on, and I'm going to find a solution.
Yeah.
Actually, there was one night when I had heart palpitations.
Yeah, palpitations.
And, and I just decided, okay, I'm just going to take the oximeter, and because in the ECG there were no results.
Ooh.
And I just decided, okay, I'm going to take the oximeter, and I'm just going to put my phone there in the night while I'm sleeping, and I'm recording the whole thing. And that's how we found, there was actually a proof that was going on, while I was sleeping. And then the doctor was able to respond. But yeah, these were things where I had to, take initiative and be like, okay, what is the solutions that I can find, and what innovative ideas can I come about, even, in a circumstance that is very uncertain and undiscovered.
Yeah, no, this is uncharted territory. And I mean,
Exactly.
and what is quite impressive in what you just described too is that, you can now help others with, with what you've learned from your own experience. And I think that is just awesome that you are, creating this special, approach. Totally.
Yeah.
We're almost running we're near the end of our time here, but I do want to thank everyone for joining. And if you could just pop your questions and comments down below for Iris, and she'll be happy to answer. And so, Iris, tell everybody, please, the best way to contact you for information, collaboration, questions.
I think the easiest way will just be to go to my Instagram profile at raw.vegan.cakes. Simple, easy to remember, and hit follow and DM. You can just message class or coaching or whatever you are interested in, and then I'll be happy to respond to you.
Awesome. So, Iris, I do want to thank you so much for taking the time. I know everyone's super busy, and I just want to ask you if there are any final thoughts you wanted to share with us before we end our chat today.
I think it has been so lovely to meet you. I think it was a very pleasant call, and we covered so many topics and aspects. So much that actually has been on my mind. I feel I have been able to share, maybe sometimes for the first time. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I thank everyone who joined and showed interest. And out of all the things, all the other things that you could be doing, you did choose to say hi and come here. So thank you very much.
Awesome. Well, it's just been my pleasure and just awesome to connect with you as well, Iris. And I'm going to save it to IGTV, my feed and stories, and then I'll message you after.
Okay, one question. Are you going to download the recording also?
No, it's going to be on IGTV.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I'm just going to, it's going to download automatically to IGTV.
Okay, cool.
Awesome.
Great.
So thank you so much again, Iris. And thanks to everybody who joined, and take good care, everybody. And bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.